welcome back to Classroom Brew. This is the 168th episode, and I'm going for a marathon on this one. I had very little to eat because that's what it's like doing online teaching. We're recording this on a Friday, and so I literally had a snack right before recording this. Right after, well, it's at this time, it's already dark, but got that done for the school day, and now I'm already too deep. So here we are. So if you want to get the chaos, you can go to Patreon, because they are getting a video episode, and this one's going to be a special treat because I'm going to be doing 2 episodes back to back here, and it's all before the election. So who knows what's going to happen. This is me. I'm still, I don't know the results. Although we might not know the results by the time this episode comes out on Tuesday or Thursday or whatever day the episode comes out. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this marathon. I've got you just heard it. Maybe you heard it. I've got an ice bucket ready to go with my refills, so I don't have to get up, because we're going for it. And I don't have a koozie on me, but it's over there. And at this point, I'm on my set, so I'm not going to get away. I'm not going to get up. But it's another week. We did the mock trial in my U.S. history class, and it went well, guys. It really did. No, it wasn't me. That was cut that out in post. So we did the mock trial. It was a bit of a struggle for obvious reasons to get kids that don't show up to in-person instruction, let alone online instruction, and trying to do something that, a mock trial, it's better if you're there for obvious reasons. But we found a way. I found a way to make it work, and it went terribly. So I'm drinking these, I guess, knockoff Coronas, whatever they are. They're really good. I don't know. But yes, we tried to do the mock trial online. It just didn't quite work out. But some of the kids, it was really sweet how much effort they gave me, and I appreciated that. Now, it'll take me about 2 seconds to grade everything, so that I do appreciate, because the kids aren't doing their work, and it's a record at this point for how fast I'm gonna finish grading. And now I got my family texting me while I'm podcasting. It's all good. So. It's been that kind of a week, if you couldn't tell. It's a little bit of pandemonium. And on Friday, the day I'm recording this, so Katie's birthday was a week or 2 ago, and there's still balloons. I'm looking at least a dozen balloons across the room from me. If one happens to explode or to pop during this episode, that would be unfortunate. But that'd be kind of cool, right? We'll get it on the podcast. You get the real shit, not fucking... not censoring anything for you. It's all real. But there's a million balloons because I went all out with the decorations. And you can't tell because on my current set, it's a green screen. So it's all down anyways. But even if you did see it when I did the last video episode, it would have been covered up by CGI. Anyway, balloons are everywhere. And we know this because they've been there for a couple weeks. But Katie, when she woke up, and I was already 3 classes deep into my schedule at that point, but when she woke up this week, the balloons have been here for a while, and she goes, "Did you hear that last night? Evidently a balloon popped." And she said, and I quote, "I thought a ghost was clapping, so I closed my..." Look, I think we've watched too much Bly Manor and Hill House at this point. If she thought that a balloon popping, balloons that have been here for a while, and the most salient thing on her mind was, "Oh, that must be a ghost clapping." Cheers. Now, the reason I bring it all up is because right now, burnout is pretty fucking real. And I've talked about that on the podcast before. Podacaste, on the Podacaste. We talked about it before. It's podcast in Italian. Duh. Podacaste. And it's burnout because at this point, and I saw it was Dwayne Reed. He teaches in CPS, evidently. I'm going to move the mic stand again. And he posted something about how teachers shouldn't be expected. And he is a teacher, I'm assuming. Well, I know he's a teacher, but he was posting about how holding teachers responsible for the attendance rate of students is a little bit absurd. And I don't know about you, but I'm at the point where my energy on monitoring students' screens has really gone down. Like in the beginning, I would close a kid's tab and open up the tab to Google Meet to help them out and send them messages and announcements and stuff, like things that show up as pop-ups or things that are just on the sidebar to really help them out and really, I'm doing my best, okay? I'm doing my fucking best. And at this point now, it's at the point where, I'm doing all of that and I'm getting a little bit of shit for not calling enough people, I guess. Even though, the numbers don't work. Let's just address that. I called one kid and multiple numbers either disconnected, and then the one that wasn't connected was like ADT Systems Company for like home security. I don't know how he came up with that one. It'd be one thing if it was like the Empire number or something that has like a memorable jingle as a commercial or on the internet. But no, it was like some random fucking company or whatever. Maybe the parent works there. I don't know. They didn't call me back. I got a security system. It's all good. We ordered one. We got a security system out of it. And no, like, wow, this is a thing for Ring. Interesting. And then I just wanted to call about his grades because he's not attending. But I wound up with this like video doorbell. It's interesting. But that's where I'm at. Is I'm pretty over it. If I see a kid that's on Netflix or Hulu, I'm not closing the tab anymore. I used to think like, oh, I'll screenshot and send it to the parent, but I don't think the parents care at this point. And I get it. They're exhausted. They can't be on top of their kid 24/7. Or some of them 0/7. And but there are also some parents that are truly overwhelmed, and that I do understand. And I have some rock star parents, to be honest with you, too. I have had a few phone calls that have gone very well. So along the lines of burnout and phones not working and things like that, I put something on Instagram tonight that I think was a good mixture of the cynicism and the optimism as well. And I put, what's your biggest frustration of this school year? Biggest frustration of this school year. I even put LeBron in there. And I got a lot of good responses. So like Travis Arroyo, waiting for decisions, just going week to week, waiting for updates as to when we go back. One person was saying, Fern G, that I have to go to school in general. This is Jen Sag, that admins still expect us to do all, yet we are in survival mode. Absolutely. Megan, who was just on the podcast recently, too many responsibilities for teachers with not enough time. Absolutely. The phone calls and stuff like that they're expecting, it's insane at this point. And we really aren't. Like, I'm making stuff, and this is my 4th year now. And there are people that are in like their 10th, 11th, 12th, way more experience than me, but we all feel like we're first-year teachers at this point. Because we have to make everything or modify everything, which could be good in the long run. I keep adjusting the mic stand. Sorry, guys. It could be good in the long run because it's forcing us to adapt to the new world. But it's stressful. Building every day, modifying every day, wondering if it's going to work, talking to the void. I had some of my MBAR kids they did projects and they got to share out. Like they were the ones that were running class for their 5 to 10-ish minutes, however long they took each. And a lot of them were like, oh, this is really, I feel like I'm talking to my computer. And I was like, yeah, that's how I feel every day. Teacher on Love was saying, relationships I've built with virtual kids. It's way more personal than I thought. I mean, that's good. That's kind of that must be one that might have spilled in from the optimistic thing. But then she also said, lack of parent involvement, even though they signed a contract for virtual learning. I'd be very interested to see what the contract for virtual learning is. Were there typos in it? Was there fine print? Because if it was in my district or in my school, I guarantee you both of those existed. I did also, I added a bunch of a bunch of people were responding to the positive as well, which I appreciated. And I'm convinced that some of these are student ones that somehow got a hold of it. But someone said, I hate school at this point. I get that. But the positives. So Megan mentioned virtual PDs. I think there's no way I'm ever going back to in-person PD. So I'm 100% with you there. Lish mentioned all of the things, in-person tutoring for classroom teachers. That sounds more like one that's related to the frustration aspect. So some schools are requiring that teachers have up to 90 minutes or so where they have a group of kids in person that they're taking care of in tutoring sessions, which is wild. The rotation of that, it's like bus duty but tutor duty, and it's in person. And some people are hybrid, but some people are online. But then some kids can change their mind, and the parents can. I don't know. And then another person said, "I still get to see my students in person and make that connection." So I'm assuming someone that is hybrid or entirely in person, and it just shows you that there's all these people that we have these frustrations, but you don't hear about it because the only people that are in the news are non-teachers that are making the decisions, and that's a little bit disconcerting. And Devin Siebold. He had a really good episode last week with just some tips for survival. And I think one of the biggest ones was unplugging. Now, I say that as someone on a podcast, but if you're listening to this audio-wise, good job. If you're doing the video, good job for you too as well. Thank you, Patreon members. You can go to patreon.com/classroombrew if you want the video podcast. But it is for sure one of those times where we have to remember to unplug, to set office hours. I say that as someone that right before I was going to record this podcast, about 20 minutes before, I was answering about a dozen emails from students and doing recommendation letters. And I'm discovering that the cool thing about knowing these kids for 4 years, now that I've been at the school for a while, it's cool to see them grow, and it makes the graduation that much more gratifying when they walk across that stage or walk across that drive-through fucking thing. But when I was in my first couple of years, because I mostly do sophomores, it's not like I had to do a lot of letters of recommendation. I think I did one. And then in my second year, I think I did one or two. And I was like, oh, this is such an honor. But now I've got like a dozen that I got to do per week. And it's not just schools. It's job applications and internships and scholarships and grant applications and things. These are all things that I'm willing to do and happy to do and offered to do. And I've talked to all these kids about it, but it's piling up. So I've got to remind myself to really unplug. Which reminds me, for my Patreon people, by the way, I'm thinking about doing coasters, Classroom Brew coasters next. So we've done the koozies. We still have some of those koozies left. We also still have some shot glasses left, but I'm thinking coasters are the next thing. And I say that as someone that doesn't have a coaster on my table right now. And I think my goal should just be to have every single item behind me and on me and around me as branded merch. So that's where we're at. So I think this is probably a good segue, right? I think we can probably get to. I hope you guys have liked the new segment music that we've been doing. I really liked making it, to be honest with you. I even posted the original version. It is updated now, as I stall to get the thing ready to go. But I think we can jump in to our comment hero of
Welcome
the week.
to the comment hero of the week. When someone's being an ass in the comment section, but they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about,
What's going on is you failed fucking social studies.
or when you see someone call that person out, they are our comment hero of the week. Yeah! Even though some heroes do call out those idiots, remember, don't call out a comment hero in the comment section. You can't fix them, and you can't fix stupid.
So our comment hero of this week, and this is the second week of it being an official segment that we are doing, but this comes from, I've been following these two Facebook threads. One of them is the union, and the other one is, it's about the safe return to schools in Illinois. Now, the article itself, and there's a few of them that are just, it's absolute gold. But the article itself was a photo that was posted by the district of what a typical spaced out kindergarten classroom could look like. And the room is fucking huge. It's probably 2 times the size of my classroom. And it's basically just, it looks like your standard, like, post-reconstruction, industrialization type classroom with the desks all in a row and, no opportunity for movement. And a lot of people are commenting on it saying like, oh, this is better than online learning, apparently. Okay. So online learning where they can take a break and stretch and move around and go, do what they have to do and get up. And now for the sake of argument, it is harder to engage with kids online. But now the alternative is, oh, they have to sit in a seat all day. At any grade level, that's a really tall task. For me as a fucking adult, that's a tall task. Let's just address that. Or not. But that's the gist of it. And this is the room. They even gave these guidelines like you can't have stuff in your cabinets and you have to wipe things down every single day. But then there's also like a stack of chairs just haphazardly thrown into like the back of the classroom as if some kindergarten kid isn't going to want to climb on that fucking shit. So that was the article. And our comment here this week is John S. Now, John said, you complain about schools not being safe, but then you complain that they're being too safe with spacing. Now, in this case, John missed the whole point of why someone posted the article. I'll be the first one to admit that sometimes the union does post some stuff that's a little bit too in-your-face propaganda. But this one is just pointing out the absurdity of doing in-person instruction and forcing kids into basically it's like Nazi Germany stereotypes of education. Now, we also have a couple comment heroes because they called this person out, and one of them is Amanda B. And she said, that's how this post came across to me too, but read the thread above. Rachel, the point is, I have to bleep her fucking name, sorry, Rachel S. The point is that this age group of children should not be expected to space themselves and stay at a desk all day. It's developmentally inappropriate. Now, and also someone added that it shouldn't be that way with a classroom that's just people or kids stuck sitting in one spot all day. It's a nightmare. Now, John, my guy, I know reading comprehension or doing your due diligence might not be your strong suit, but it's okay because it worked out for you anyways. You clearly you have a job, you have access to internet, so you have some income. But I think the biggest honor that we can give to you is that you, sir, are this week's comment hero of the week. But also big shout out to the people that called him out, and I think that's important, especially in today's age. So, yeah, I mean, it's been that kind of a week, and I recently taught some kids about using the CC feature on an email when someone's not doing something that you ask them to do. But I think we'll save that for a later episode when we talk about the accountability of adults. I think we'll save that for a different episode. But thank you guys so much for listening or watching this episode of Classroom Brew. I appreciate all that support. If you would like to get bonus episodes, exclusive content like behind-the-scenes stuff, access to the video podcast, for example, you can head on over to patreon.com/classroombrew. I do want to give a big shout out to my patrons for supporting the show every single month. That means so much to me. It really amazes me. If you still have not gotten any of your merch, just let me know. I usually wait for the first item to arrive before I send the second item, and I think most people have their items. Speaking of those items, if you want that merch, we're going to probably do coasters pretty soon, but we already have the koozies and the shot glasses, all that good stuff. I feel like I say all that good stuff a lot, but yeah, that's where we're at. So that said, thanks for supporting, even though I suggested getting away from a screen. Make sure if you notice a comment here on the comment section, send us a shout out. Be like, hey, or send me a screenshot of the article or a link to the article, and then of course who the comment hero is, because we're in 2020, and that's just the world we live in, where everyone has a platform, and they shouldn't necessarily, because not everybody has the greatest reading comprehension or the ability to do their due diligence. So thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. Stay safe and healthy. I know this is coming out around the election time, but hopefully it was a nice distraction from you. But until next week, class dismissed.